TLC Meats. Get your T-bone steaks, ribeye steaks, ground beef patties, bacon wrapped fillets, Kansas City strips, ground beef. Introduction bundles only $80.96. TLC Meats, Belle Plaine, Kansas. Don't delay. Order today. Yes, we deliver.
As federal regulators were again under fire for failing to protect this nation's food supply. Legislation has been introduced to make the public aware of a common industry practice that makes meat look fresher than it may actually be. Red, fresh meat, or is it? Congressional hearings pointed to the pitfalls of treating meat with carbon monoxide.
Treating meat with carbon monoxide allows the meat to keep its freshly ground red color, even though the meat may have spoiled. I have a picture on the screen. There's 2 packages of ground meat that were left out at room temperature for 27 hours. You can see the one which was treated with carbon monoxide looks fresh and red, while the other meat has turned brown and quite nasty looking.
Congressman Stupak and Congressman Ed Markey have introduced legislation that would require meat treated with carbon monoxide to be labeled so the consumer would know. According to the industry, 2/3 of all meat and chicken is no longer cut by a butcher in front of customers or in back of the supermarket case. Now, pre-packaged, case-ready meat is prepared off-site at large distributors and then shipped to supermarkets. The carbon monoxide treatment keeps meat looking fresh in that process. Food experts say a pound of ground beef cut by a butcher goes brown in 4 to 5 days. But meat treated with carbon monoxide by a meat packer can stay looking fresh for weeks. It's the same with imported seafood. Congressman Stupak says his subcommittee tested seafood from China and Vietnam treated with carbon monoxide. 20% turned out to be bad and was refused.
It's a problem because consumers aren't informed about how meat is treated. The meat is being treated with chemicals so that it's going to look like it's fresher than it is. I think consumers have a right to know how fresh their meat is.
Industry representatives of large meat packers say the additive is harmless, and it's easy to tell when the product goes bad. The FDA has declared meat treated with carbon monoxide is safe, so the use of carbon monoxide is not banned here. But 3 years ago, the European Parliament's Environmental Committee outlawed it because consumers could be misled about the freshness of it.
TLC Meats. Get your T-bone steaks, ribeye steaks, ground beef patties, bacon wrapped fillets, Kansas City strips, ground beef. Introduction bundles only $80.96. TLC Meats, Belle Plaine, Kansas. Don't delay. Order today. Yes, we deliver.
Next time you're cooking a steak, touch it with your finger to determine its temperature. To get a feel for telling a steak's doneness, try this exercise. Lightly touch your thumb and index finger together, and with your other hand, touch your thumb muscle. This feels like a rare steak. Now take your middle finger, touch the tip of your thumb lightly, touch your thumb muscle, and that is a medium rare to medium steak. Now your ring finger, lightly touch it to your thumb tip, touch your thumb muscle, and that is a medium to medium well steak. And finally, your pinky, lightly touch it to your thumb tip, and touch your muscle there, and that is a well done steak. Hey, it's that easy.
TLC Meats. Get your T-bone steaks, ribeye steaks, ground beef patties, bacon wrapped fillets, Kansas City strips, ground beef. Introduction bundles only $80.96. TLC Meats, Belle Plaine, Kansas. Don't delay. Order today. Yes, we deliver.
Of red meat primarily by its color, but as you're about to see, looks can be very deceiving. Take a close look at this meat. The bright red color suggests it's fresh, but all these packages have been sitting out unrefrigerated for more than 24 hours. This is what ground beef normally looks like after 24 hours at room temperature. What's the difference? The bright red meat is packaged with a small amount of carbon monoxide to keep it looking fresh. The chemical itself in such a tiny quantity is harmless, but critics of the process say it still puts consumers at risk.
So when consumers are in the supermarket, they can't tell the difference between a fresh piece of meat and a piece of meat that's been sitting on the shelf for several weeks.
Here's a good example of what we're talking about. This package of ground beef doesn't look too bad, but look in the corner of the packaging there. The date, November 26th, 2005. This meat is almost 2 years old, and it's still red. Institute Foundation says it's perfectly safe, arguing that consumers are smart enough to know that if a product were temperature abused by being inadvertently left on a counter or forgotten in the trunk of a car, they should throw it away. Consumers also know, they say, that if meat smells bad, looks or feels slimy, or if the use-by date has passed, don't buy it. Now, one problem with that, though, of course, when meat is on the supermarket shelf, it's wrapped in plastic, so you can't smell it, you can't feel it to see if it's slimy. So what consumer groups want is a label on the package saying that it's been treated with carbon monoxide, and you should not use the appearance of this meat to judge its fresh.
TLC Meats. Get your T-bone steaks, ribeye steaks, ground beef patties, bacon-wrapped fillets, Kansas City strips, ground beef. Introduction bundles only $80.96. TLC Meats, Belle Plaine, Kansas. Don't delay. Order today. Yes, we deliver.
Lots of people ask me, how do you grill the perfect steak every time? If you've got a couple of minutes, I'll show you how. Everything you need is right here, including a great gas grill. The first key is to start with a fine cut of beef. T-bone, ribeye, prime rib, or sirloin. We prefer New York strips. Be sure to look for plenty of marbling, fine white flecks like this. Marbling is the fat that is distributed within the meat. The more marbling there is, the more juicy and flavorful the meat will be. Unlike exterior fat, the marbling while cooking will naturally baste the beef. Steaks like these are tougher and drier. They can be tasty if you cook them properly, but you'll want to marinate them for a longer period of time. For tender cuts like the certified Angus beef New York strip, marinating an hour will flavor the meat. For tougher cuts, you'll want to marinate for up to 24 hours in the refrigerator. Marinating is very simple, and it tenderizes and flavors the meat. Place your steaks in a resealable bag and just add the marinade. For the recipe, visit theperfectsteak.com or look for the Perfect Steak Marinade from Broil King. Seal the bag and let sit for 1 hour. If you want to marinate for longer than an hour, be sure to keep your steaks cool, but allow them to reach room temperature before grilling. When you're ready to grill, drain the marinade and dispose of it. You should never reuse marinade that has made contact with raw meat. Now for the real secret to get that perfect medium rare steak. Let's start by preparing our grill. Turn on your grill and preheat to 500 degrees, then turn to medium high. Once your grill reaches that temperature, you use an oil sprayer to season your grills. This will help prevent foods from sticking, but also keep the grids from rusting. When you're ready to grill, open the lid, grab your steaks, and place them at a 45-degree angle, 10 o'clock position. Close the lid and keep it closed for exactly 2 minutes. After your 2 minutes are up, you'll open the lid and flip your steak over, keeping it at the 10 o'clock position. With heavy enough cooking grids, you can keep the steak at the same spot. For cooking grids that can't retain the heat, you might want to flip it into a different spot. Close the lid and keep the lid closed for another 2 minutes. By searing the top and bottom of your steak, you're locking the juices and flavors in, ensuring a moist and tasty steak. After your 2 minutes are up, it's time to flip again. This time, quarter turn and flip again, moving it to a 2 o'clock position. Close the lid and relax for another 2 minutes. Okay, just one flip left. Open your lid, flip your steak, keeping it at a 2 o'clock position, and close the lid for the final 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes will give you the perfect medium rare 1-inch thick steak. If you like rare, medium, or well done, or prefer a different thickness, check out the steak grilling guide at theperfectsteak.com. Here's a trick to test for doneness of your steak without piercing or cutting the steak and allowing all the precious juices to flow out. Create a circle with your index finger and your thumb, then touch the fleshy area underneath your thumb and compare it to the doneness of the steak for medium rare. Move to your middle finger for medium and your ring finger for well done. If your steak feels like touching your pinky finger, then you've overcooked your steak, way over 8 minutes. When your final 2 minutes are up, it's time to take the steak off the grill. Take a warm plate and place the steak on the plate, and let it sit for 5 minutes. Your guests will be thrilled and your reputation is sealed. The best steak on the block. For the perfect meal, serve the perfect steak with a loaded baked potato, some grilled peppers and zucchini, spinach salad, and a firm red wine. The tannin in red wine will refresh your mouth for the next delicious bite. It's that simple. A few minutes of preparation, 8 minutes of grilling will give you the perfect steak every time. All you need is a quality steak, a great gas grill, the perfect steak marinade, and a little bit of time. Enjoy.
TLC Meats. Get your T-bone steaks, ribeye steaks, ground beef patties, bacon-wrapped fillets, Kansas City strips, ground beef. Introduction bundles only $80.96. TLC Meats, Belle Plaine, Kansas. Don't delay. Order today. Yes, we deliver.
Oh, it's off to the grocery store, and then to a grilling!
Man, I'll do anything to make it to a New York City bistro.
A steak wants to be treated right. Some garlic, a little pepper, maybe some béarnaise melting all over my sizzling grill marks.
Whoop! Here we go! Hey, what are you doing?
Dressing for success, man. Just doing some carbon monoxide hits. And as long as I'm in this package, I'll stay red forever and keep looking fresh all the way to the Big Apple.
Ew! You're doing chemicals!
Don't be a wuss, baby. It's all the rage. It'll keep our steaks red so we can stay up on the shelves for 5 weeks from now. Check this out.
Looks are how people judge us.
But on the inside, you'll still be older than you look. And you could become spoiled but still look bright red and fresh? That ain't right!
This is a cartoon, but mono meat is no joke. Carbon monoxide is used to color pre-packaged meat. Tell the government to stop allowing consumers to be fooled with carbon monoxide-treated meat.
We are steaks! We are proud! We don't need to fool people!
Hurrah!